how you're doing today. It's Wake Up Nigeria. I'm your girl Marival as usual, reaching you live from Srtv studio here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. It's on the 6th of December. Oh my God, Christmas is already ringing bell. How are you preparing for the Christmas? What are your plans? Hope you've got good plans though. Okay, and on this Wake Up Nigeria show, you know how we do it. Talk about the major happenings in the country. Try to see how we can render solutions to them. But today we have a very special broadcast, a very special one at that, because I'm actually having a guest. It's all about educating us. That we're educating us more about the things she do. It's actually gonna be a very important thing to the society at large. That's why I felt like it's really gonna be important bringing it on our Wake Up Nigeria show to talk about it. Which the topic of today's show is wealth in waste. Now, this is the topic. When you hear the word wealth in waste, what comes to your mind? You know, the thing is, we actually felt like prior to now, I felt like some things actually waste in the country that are really not valuable, right? But this lady actually made us to understand, which is actually still going to make us to understand when I bring her to the show, that nothing is a waste in Nigeria. You can actually make money from those things you think are wasted products, from those things you think do not have value. Now, this is it. How recycling can generate income and save the planet. How does she do this? What's the brain like? What really motivated this person? What gave her the brain, the wisdom to think about this? Now, this is it. Wealth from waste is the creating of wealth from waste is the creating value from waste materials or sources that would otherwise be thrown away. You know, she's actually going to make us understand why these things are not wasted products, how they can actually generate income, how they can be so important and good to the people. And still on the show, we're going to see our dailies to see the important things on our dailies. What and what is really happening? We all know Nigeria and its problem. It has been there. That's why I felt like, let me divert a bit. Let's divert from all of the things that are bordering on us in Nigeria, the corruption, the insecurity, the cost in the price of fuel, transportation hike, and everything. Can we start seeing the positivity in us as Nigerians? And that is why I love the guest I'm going to add to the show soonest, because now she's actually making out something important for herself, not allowing the problems to weigh her back, not sitting back and expecting the government to do a lot for us, which we all know that is not really happening, right? These people, we need to start understanding that they don't have our interest in heart. You need to start seeing the importance of you making out something for yourself. Okay, let me add up my guests, just as I promised, and let's get to know more about her and the reason she's actually doing what she does, which is wealth in waste. Now, let me add her up. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm very fine. I feel so excited to be live on SRTV. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. So, can you introduce yourself to us? Can you hear me? Can you introduce yourself to us? To the,
Oh,
yes.
thank you very much. I am Favor Oje. I'm a chemical scientist and environmentalist. I'm the founder of Voice of Climate Action, and we have our flagship product, which is Boca shoe polish made from plastic waste. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, the thing is, talking about wealth in waste. First of all, before I even start anything, I want to know what gave you that inspiration. So actually think about how important, right? Because you know, every day, so at our day-to-day lives, we see these things, we see them as trash. We throw them away, right? We really don't see any. I'm not left out. I'm not left out
Yeah.
in this. We really don't see anything important, right? With all of these things. So how comes you thought about how I can actually make money with this thing? How I can actually recycle it and generate income? You get, and you still thought about, okay, trying to, this knowledge should not just be for me. You try to still educate others and make them understand the importance of all of these things you do, the importance of wealth in
Yeah.
waste. So can I really know the inspiration behind this?
Oh, So the inspiration behind this came about growing up as a child. Yes, I saw how I drew inspiration from many things. And one of those things I drew inspiration from was the palm tree. I remember then that the palm tree has many uses. From that same palm tree, you could get palm oil. Our brothers here in Delta, you see them cooking banga soup. From that same palm tree, they make black soap, they produce toothpick, they produce a lot of things. So when I looked at the palm tree, I saw that it was one tree that has many functions. And then I said, if a tree can actually offer this kind of value, that's to say, when we look domestically, there will be things we can actually draw inspiration from. So that was how it started. Yes, that was how the journey started. And growing up as a child, also, my dad is an accountant by education, but in business, he was into this palm business, palm consultation. So most times when he's going to mark out plantations and all of that, he'll be like, oh, Favor, come along. So with that, a lot of inspiration was drawn, and that is how the journey began.
I'd like to know, where does Nigeria stand in climate change awareness and creation?
Pardon, please?
Okay, I said, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I said, where does Nigeria stand in climate change awareness and creation?
Nigeria has made progress when it comes to climate change awareness, but then there are still some gaps that needs to be filled. For example, in Nigeria, we have the Nigeria Climate Act of 2021, and the aim of that act is to bring Nigeria to that awareness that in the climate and in the global stage, there is a work and there's a role we have to play. So that's the importance of that act. But on the other hand, bringing up a act is a different thing. Then implementing it is another ball game. Despite the progress Nigeria has made, there are still some loopholes such as implementation issues, funding constraint, and you see them saying things like waste management, but there are no infrastructure to make sure that this is really implemented. And another thing too is that in the urban communities, they've been able to make progress, creating awareness, but those in the rural community are yet to know much about this. And funny enough, most times they are affected greatly when it comes to climate change.
Wow, this is a good one though. He said how recycling can generate income, right? And save the
Yes.
planet. This is a good one if you ask me. Now the thing is, I've really heard what you said, and I'm so impressed. As a young lady and thinking about this, having this kind of mindset. So I tend to ask. I'm so curious, right? I really want to know. And this is it. That what are the major challenges, right? That is being faced in creating sustainable environment in Nigeria. The challenges. Can I get to know them?
The challenges is a very long list, but I would just pick some points. And one of those challenges is lack of education when it comes to the creating awareness. You understand? So when it comes to creating awareness, our people don't know much about that. You could see a woman throwing trash into the gutter where water is supposed to pass through. And
That's
she doesn't see that as a crime. She doesn't see it as anything. So our people are yet to know and see the reality that if we mismanage our environment today, that it has a greater repercussion in the future. So lack of education, proper awareness. These are things that you must not go to school to learn. It's just like they say common sense. When it comes to this awareness, it is something every family should know. Despite reading an environmental course or despite being in the four walls of education, and it's a knowledge every home should know. Secondly, when it comes to Nigeria, there's so much reliance in oil, and this is non-renewable energy. So this, because of our reliance on oil, because that is the strength of our economy as at this time, it places a resistance on renewable energy. Nations like this will be reluctant to fully accept renewable energy, because when they start accepting things like solar cars, solar to power houses, then what will happen to the oil? So this is also reliance in oil and reliance in non-renewable energy is also a resistance to sustainability. Yes. And another resistance is this implementation issues. When it comes to implementation, the governments make policies, but then when it comes to implementation, there's little or nothing, because there's corruption, and sometimes there is limited resources. There's financial constraint. So in all this, you could see that this is really warring against sustainability in Nigeria.
wow, it is. I saw this how people transform from before to after, and it was like I was so speechless. Then looking at the person behind this, as young as she looks, then it really shows that wisdom is definitely from God, because at the end of the day, just like I said earlier on, I've been seeing this waste, like, the trash can and everything, and how people make polish, even polish, shoe polish, right? People make shoe polish out of it. I'm still going to be showing those images, but let's just continue. So the thing is, you go to schools, right? You try to
Yeah.
talk to students about it, to educate them about it. So what's the thing that maybe you've been seeing so far, maybe going to school? Do you really think they embrace this idea, or do they see it as something that is not important?
Yes. Whenever I visit these schools with my team, the students are always excited, because one thing you find very conversant in the science field in this nation is that most times it's not really practical. These students are not given the space to practicalize what they are learning. So when I'm speaking with these students, and as a chemical scientist also, I also try to incorporate chemistry. Yes, because you see, sometimes in chemistry, they'll be telling you that there are there are some processes, exothermic process, endothermic process. And do you know that sometimes even our day-to-day activity, these are things that we do, but then because they are not exposed to the practical sphere, they don't know. So these students are always excited, especially when I blend it with chemistry. So I'll tell them, you see this waste material, you'll be like, yes. I'll be like, this waste material is made from plastic, and the chain reaction helps you in producing this. So they have learned about chain reaction in chemistry, and they are now saying that, okay, this this thing, it is chain reaction, this is polymer chemistry. It is all this. That is how this came to manifestation. So they are always excited. There have never been any school I visited with my team where the students were reluctant. And apart from that, students are fast learner. My God, they learn very fast, and it has been impressive. In fact, their joy alone is enough reason to even drive the project more.
Okay, so let us take a closer look at your book. What's the inspiration behind your book?
Like I said earlier, that growing up, I drew a lot of inspiration from the palm tree, where even the bunch that you feel that it's of no use, you could see that they use it to make soap, black soap, and most of this soap are very nice on the skin. So as I grew up, I became more exposed, especially as a chemical scientist. Going to school, I got exposed with chemicals, my knowledge in chemistry, and all of that. So I was like, okay, since there are some processes that are actually industrial, that you cannot go to the classroom and teach because there could be fire outbreak and there is no equipment to control that. I now thought that, okay, apart from industrial process, I started thinking about domestic um, recycling, like things we could, they are like waste we could recycle in our domestic environment instead of going to the factory.
Okay.
So this made me start doing a lot of research. So this book, I made sure that the reader is exposed to both the domestic processes where you can change waste to wealth and then industrial processes. So whether you are in the science space or whether you are an industrialist, you will have benefits.
Okay.
Whether you want to venture into business or you don't
Okay.
want to venture.
Talking about benefits, right? This book you wrote, right? So how has it really been received by the general public? What can you really say is the reception you have towards that book? This one you wrote.
Okay, the reception towards the book is encouraging
Okay.
because I've got a lot of reviews and feedback. There are people who have sent feedbacks like, "Oh, I didn't know that there are a lot of potentials in ways that I could tap into, and now I know." So at the end of the day, you see, when people finish reading this book, there is this they are inspired and there is this zeal to act, and then they blend with storytelling and practical solution mixed with our cultural blend. People have really commended that a lot.
You know, you've been talking about turning waste into wealth and all of that. Well, I really want to know, what kind of waste do you turn into wealth? Is it every waste? What one? What type in particular, right? Can really be turned into those waste you're talking about.
The truth is, every waste around can actually be turned to wealth. It all depends on the processes you use. And I'll be giving few examples because we don't have all the time. So one of those examples is your organic waste. The organic waste can actually be composted and then used as fertilizer. And these fertilizer are actually excellent. Yes, there is no side effect like your normal or your artificial, processed fertilizer. Then you can as well turn plastic either to something you could use for construction, and just like in my company where I turn plastic to shoe polish. to then you can as well turn old clothes, some fabrics, you can upscale them. Yes. So there are a number of things, and one of those processes you could follow is this. One of the processes you have to select them because you don't have to put all waste together. You have to select the kind of waste you want.
Okay.
Then the second thing, you have to clean them up because in chemistry, when you introduce things like that, you would see there's presence of impurities. And when impurities is present, you would not be able to get that excellent product. Let me give you an example, just like hot water. When impurity is present in that water, yes, they have said a water boils at 100 degree Celsius and all of that, but immediately there's impurity, it won't be that standard again. So it's very important that when you have to select the kind of waste you want to work with, and after selecting it, you clean them up and then either upcycle, recycle, whichever one you want. And then you have to incorporate a lot of research. If it doesn't go the way you want, do your research, go on YouTube, read materials. So that is just the route.
Wow. That's a nice one. You know why this story is inspiring? I know there's no success without its challenges, right? So I know obviously you've been facing one or two challenges. So can you really share with us some of the obstacles, right, that you face while promoting this message?
One of the obstacles I faced was financial constraints, funding. We're in a nation where, oh, you're like, oh, I want to do research to promote sustainability, and there is no grants that will be available for that. Even when the grant is there, the process is very long. Most times, the money even given in grants may not even be enough to pull this research or these processes. So that is also one of the challenges that are faced. Then another challenge that I've faced is skepticism. You know, some people are like, oh, are you sure that this will really work? You understand? But then, as someone who is visionary, despite what people say, you just have to keep pushing forward. And I will use this medium to also say thank you to my parents and my loved ones. If despite this financial constraint and all of that, and both with my personal funding, they've also been supportive.
That's a nice one. Okay, before I continue, I would like us to take a look at some of the jobs you've done. Let's see this video together.
At JZ Pan, we are turning waste into wealth. As a registered business, we create eco-friendly solutions like Voca shoe polish, made by recycling plastic waste into durable, affordable shoe polish. Voca shoe polish is more than a product, it's a movement. We are fighting pollution and promoting sustainability and empowering change. Our vision is a cleaner, greener Nigeria where waste becomes an opportunity.
Wow, I love that. Okay, let's see this as well.
It is in your hands to make change. It is in your hands to be innovative. You are not too young for impact. Take charge now. The world is waiting for your manifestation.
Voice of climate action. Do you know that you can turn your environmental waste to entrepreneurial opportunity? Find out in the book titled The Wealth in Waste, authored by Favor Oje, available on seller.co. For your hard copy, contact the number on your screen.
Okay, welcome back. So, the thing is, okay, doing this into this line of job you do, right? Are there times that you feel like you really want to quit? What's that thing that's been motivating you, that's made you continue by not giving up?
Yeah, there are many times where I felt I wanted to quit. Yes. In fact, even last week I felt like quitting. But the truth is, I have an excellent support system. So most times when I'm down, most times when I'm like, okay, this project or this thing is not going the way I'm supposed to, um, the way I have anticipated it to go. This support system has given me encouragement, and most times there are a lot of people that believe in me. Yes, my friends, my family members, and even those around me. So they're like, oh, you can't stop here. And apart from that, being a Christian is also helpful because there are times where certain challenges come up, and I just tell myself, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So this has actually been my backbone.
Okay, good support system. Kudos. The
This
thing is,
has built
uh,
me, this
as
has
humans,
helped
when
me
we
to
do
be resilient despite all those.
that's why I said that as humans, when we do things, sometimes we feel discouraged. It can never be rosy or rosy. The challenges will definitely come up. Criticism, right, from people, reasons why you will not see the importance of the things you do because they really want to talk down on what you do. And that is why I had to think about bringing this question to you. Let's see why you kept on doing what you're doing, why you didn't give up, and all of that. So, and about your book, right? Um,
Yes.
how do you really think this book will be educative to the students out there if you start selling it out to them?
Oh, this book has a lot of benefits. I'm not saying this because I'm the author of the book. When you cook a food that is delicious, most times you don't even need an outsider to tell you, you know. But then people have actually read this book. They've
Do
sent
you
their
know that
Continue, sorry.
for those who have sent me review, especially both those already in offices and those in environmental office and both students and people around, you will see the major comment they make is this book is a book everybody should read. In fact, it should be an handbook because a friend made a comment and she was like, even though I don't want to use this for business, personally, domestically, in my house, everything you have shared in this book has helped me see how I can actually manage things better. And there are practical steps. That book unveils a lot of sectors. One of the sectors it unveils is this collector, this waste bank. There are a lot of people, when they see people picking all this trash and all of that, you think there is no money in it. Do you know that 1 ton of plastic, most buyers buy it for 250,000 naira?
Wow.
But when they are picking it, you're like, what is this? But this is a business that when you sit down very well and organize, you're going to make millions out of it.
I just
That
realized that these people that pick all these things on waste bins, I've not seen the brain behind. Do you know that I used to think, like, how do they make money from this? I didn't really making money from this, right? I didn't know that there are a lot of things we produce from this waste products.
yeah,
Then we should learn to actually a kind of start valuing them. You get my point? Because you see how we really don't value all of these things, and they actually a kind of becoming a good source. You
yeah,
understand? I know that it's not even everything that we make from waste that you're actually doing because it's just the one you have a knowledge of. You don't
yeah,
you must have knowledge of all of them. Maybe if another person comes, they'll tell you some things they also you get produced from still the same waste. It depends on
yeah,
the one you, and you can see what you've been able to do with it. What you've been okay now shoe polish. We know that when you go to like all of this most of these shoemakers they charge you
yeah,
for it. want to polish your shoe. So it's really impressing, right? Like I felt so impressive when you talked about this. I saw it's wealth in waste. Truly, it's a wasted product. So how do we still turn them into making money? Then should we not start calling them wasted products? Should we start seeing the values in them? You get my point? The thing
Yeah.
is, we as Nigerians, we have this love for money. We always want to make money. There's this specialty that comes with wanting to make money. If
Yeah.
everyone begins to understand that you make a lot of money from this, I bet you they will not be wasting all this thing. We won't be trashing them. People want to
No.
get in their houses for you to come and buy them with a huge amount of money because you're making
Yeah.
money from it. You understand?
That's mm,
It's really a good one, bro. Okay, now
thank you.
there's this question I actually want to throw to you before. I actually just had to skip it. The thing is, it's saying, are there conventions and agreements, right, that Nigerians is part of climate uh change awareness, and how effective has those agreements been in Nigeria?
Yes, like I made mention like that Nigeria has actually been making lots of progress when it
Okay.
comes to climate action. So Nigeria belonged to the Paris Agreement, and this agreement is to help nation commit to reduction of green gases because it is these green gases that cause the depletion of the ozone layers. Nigeria has also been part of UN Framework Convention on Climate Action, and both on regional basis, Nigeria, we have things like Great Green Walls that helps to in desertification, and there's a lot of convention Nigeria belong to. The only challenge they are facing is that most times they are facing financial constraint and then infrastructure to put this in place and to make this effective. But with you know politicians who are strong-willed, would go a long way to have more results, and with government's collaboration with stakeholders, would have more and excellent output.
Okay, can you hear me? It's saying, okay, there is a perception. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We have different perception, right? The way you think is quite different from the way I think, and also different from the way another person think. Now,
Yeah.
I'm throwing this question to you because it has to do with the wealth in waste. So this is it. Now, there's a perception that environmental activists like yourself might inadvertently impact the plastic industry, especially with recent legislation in Lagos aimed at reducing the use of plastic sachet and containers that contribute to urban challenges. So I really want to know what's your thoughts on this.
Personally, I believe that our job as climate activists is not to close down the plastic industry. Our job is to promote circular economy, an
Okay.
economy, an economy where when you use waste, the next thing you think of is how to reuse it, is how to recycle it. Most time the use may not be the issue. Most times it is the disposal, what happens after the use. So we are working hand in hand to see that okay, producers can actually put this in place, and then on the other hand we could suggest that okay, instead of raising people that would always believe that the next thing after plastic is to trash, we can actually expose them to alternative means like using recyclable bags, and all of that, and things that promote sustainability. And then the Lagos rule, the Lagos state's policy may not just be to stop the plastic industry. What they are avoiding is the single use of plastic, when you use once and then you discard. So they want a situation whereby you will think of things and how you can reuse this. So the issue is not the use. Where the problem lies is what happens after the use. So that is where we're coming. We're not here to close plastic
So
industry.
that perception is wrong, right?
Very wrong.
Okay, that's cool. You've talked about your ambition and the motivation, right, behind the inspiration of what you do. But I would like to know, as a young lady, right, who is funding you? How do you get funding for this project?
Okay. The first time this journey began, when I was 7, I served at Bayelsa State Ministry of Environment. So as at that time, it was my savings, the little money they were paying, that as at that time. Most times, it wasn't enough. The money they were paying as at that time, federal government was paying to the NYSC members and all of that. But then with that, I was able to like, okay, push these resources. Then after my service and all of that, I felt I have to do more research in this. I needed to get chemicals. Some chemicals I used are imported, like to collaborate with, because you will not just use only plastic. There's
Okay.
also science in it. Yes. So then that was when my dad stepped in. So he has been funding. Even though I've been applying for grants and all of that, that we are yet to receive response from, just like I told you that
Yeah,
it takes
it's
a lot
difficult.
of. So
Yeah, yes.
my parents, especially my dad, has been the one doing the funding. And I'm grateful for that.
Wow, wow, wow. I'm so impressed. Okay, now the thing is, now how do you plan to generate revenue, right, to support your missions in schools?
How I plan to generate
Revenue.
revenue
I
is
think one of your
to,
missions is you go to schools, you try to educate
yes,
these young ones and to see the importance of what you do. So I want to know how you really generate revenues. You understand?
okay. So how I generate revenue, number one, I made mention of producing shoe polish. So when you produce to sell. So that is also, that can bring in profits. And apart from that, projects like this, you cannot go alone. You have to partner. So
Okay.
I aim to partner with individuals and organization. In 2025, I look forward to distributing at least 1,000 copies of these books to schools. This is a project that I cannot do alone. So at this point, I need partners that will come in and say, oh, I'll be sponsoring 10 copies, I'll be sponsoring 500 copies, I'll be sponsoring 1,000 copies based on their capacity. Because most times we shouldn't wait for a situation whereby, or a stage where we have all the money. Most times it's the passion. So if your resources now is to sponsor 10, why not sponsor 10 books to these students? If your capacity is to sponsor 100, 200, you can go ahead and reach out and say, okay, I'm sponsoring 100. So with this, it's not a personal effort, it's a collaborative work. With this collaborative work with um, organizations and then individual, will go a long way to raise a new generation that will see environmental waste as entrepreneurial opportunity. So I'm using this platform to call on interested individuals who want to see that the upcoming generation are people that will not sit on mountains of opportunity and dismiss them as waste. So you can come on board and collaborates with VOCA, both as an organization and as an individual, to see that we are raising a giant. And then at the end of the day, like they say, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, will be able to restore and be back on our feet.
Wow, you see, as they say, are we not giants of Africa? We are, right? Okay. Just like I wanted to really ask you of your vision and mission, and I think you've already stated that. So I will really not see any need for it. No, apart from the footwear I just displayed right now on the screen and the shoe polish that you've produced. I don't have things you produce with this waste that we need to know.
Yes, like the video where that was played, where I was talking about vocal shoe polish. You could see the earring I wore there
Yeah,
was recycled from waste. Yes.
earring.
Yes, and there are other of my projects where I go, I teach these students how to make bags they can carry, like when they are going out and all of that. So both in the fashion industry and then in so it's a long list.
Okay,
But I
you
cannot.
go to schools. Sorry to cut you. You go to schools, you educate them on these, right?
Yes.
Okay, personally, I feel like, do you really want to own like a company where people come, maybe you teach them about this? You understand? When they learn, you employ them to be working for you, or you just want to be in a situation whereby you only go to school and educate people about what you do. How do you really want to go about it?
Okay, like what I'm building on currently, the organization, the name of my platform, like under my registered company is Jazzy Pan. So under Jazzy Pan, there is this sector called VOCA, Voice of Climate Action. In that platform, what we do is to promote sustainability. So under VOCA, we have products, like VOCA shoe polish. That is a product for the company. Then we also have another area on awareness. So the company is producing as a business, and on the other hand, we are giving back to the society by teaching the upcoming generation how to use domestic waste. I made mention of that because
Yeah.
if I say I'm coming to teach them shoe polish in the school, we may start running because of fire. Because that is an industrial process, and there is no mechanism, there is no industrial equipment to control that. It's just like saying you are going to the school to refine crude oil. You are in for a serious trouble. So then we have the sector producing as a business, which is vocal shoe polish, and then we have another sector creating awareness. So it's like a two-in-one action. VOCA, Voice of Climate Action.
You do a lot. You do a lot. Trying to turn the waste, wealth into waste, right? Into the waste, try to make it a kind of in a way whereby you make money from it. It's another thing. Then writing a book about this is still a lot. So people will now read and understand what you do. It is not just about you voicing it. You now
Yeah,
have to make in a written form. So if you're not, or if you're not able, or you don't have the capability to watch my videos, you can actually go through the books.
yeah,
I wish there's a way where this book can actually be sold out to schools, can get to schools where people that are still in school, let me just say maybe like a secondary school, they now read this book. You know, it's a way of creating entrepreneurial mindset in these pupils. Because Nigeria, we are wired in a way whereby we just learn the a kind of theory parts in schools, objectives, they just teach you. But we need to start embracing the practical part of it. You get my point? The
yeah,
practical, I meant in the sense that they now show you how to do these things in a practical way. Because if
yeah,
we start having that kind of Nigeria where we learn most of the practical things in school, we will not have problems. You know that if people in school cannot really understand how wealth is being made from waste, then even after school, you will not have issues trying to look for jobs.
yes.
It's not helping those people becoming CEOs of themselves,
Yes.
entrepreneurs on their own. You get my point? Thereby eradicating a lot of poverty in the country. This show basically is all about, it's talking about Nigeria, although the political sector, and when you talk about political sector, that's where you delve into business and every other part, right?
Yeah.
That Nigeria
Yeah.
operates. So the reason why I thought about bringing this into the show, bringing your topic into the show is, now you're talking about how people can make out good things for themselves as Nigerians, as citizens of Nigerians, in the sense that we are in a country whereby a lot of unemployment. We have high rates of unemployment. People
Yes.
are home because they're not working. Some people don't even have skills. They cannot really make out something for themselves. Now, this is an avenue where people can start thinking, right? Thinking
Yes.
beyond their a kind of cycle, right? They now go beyond their
Yes.
cycle, thinking how they can really make out something for themselves. Now, this didn't deprive you of going to school. I wonder why people think that if I learn a skill, I won't be educated. It doesn't stop you from going to school. You're educated, just like you said, you served. So you went to school, you're a graduate, but you can actually make out this for yourselves. Now it helps you to think forward, even beyond this. Tomorrow you start thinking of how to do something else. So I wish there's a
Yes.
way whereby this book can actually be sold to schools. They tend to see how they can really make this wealth in ways, even for the female folks, right? Now you talked about how you make earrings, bags. It's just so sweet hearing it. I wish you actually sent me the picture of the bags and earrings. You just the one we displayed on the video. I love it. Knowing fully well that you're actually a young lady with this kind of motivation, right? This kind of inspiration you have, definitely you go far because it's actually a nice project. You understand? It's really, really a
Thank
nice project. But now I really want to ask, apart from the fact that you go to schools, you educate people about this, are there people that you can actually boast that they have learned this from you and they are doing well on their own? Maybe learning it from you, you can actually boast that, okay, this person learned this thing from me, young boy, a young girl, they learned it from me and they are doing well on their own. Can you really boast of that within the couple of time you've been doing this?
Yes, I can boast of about 60 persons.
Wow.
Yes, see young people, like, because when I go for outreaches, most times I just, for example, I'm coming into a community, you make sure that the paramount ruler or the people in charge are picking people that are interested, because some persons could come just because they said, oh, there is free skill acquisition. But when you bring the people that are actually passionate about learning, there are people who naturally want to be useful to themselves. So most times when these people come, even though it's just twice or once you come in contact with these people and show them this is how you do this, this is how you do this, this is how you do that, they grab immediately. There are people who send me text message and they're like, oh, thank you very much, Favor Oje. Thank you. You really helped me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And I feel fulfilled when I get feedbacks like this. And this is one of the reasons why I said, okay, instead of just, apart from physical appearance, this book can actually go to places where I cannot go. It can
Yeah.
actually go to communities. And that is why I I am calling on government and both individuals to partner with us in Voice of Climate Action, VOCA, to make sure that this book will be free for these students. Because when you pay for 100 copies, the 100 copies will go to students for free. And in this, with this pattern, we'll be able to raise more entrepreneurs apart from the 60, because the 60 that I was able to come in contact with is because, okay, these were people who were willing and, and they may even be more than that, because these are people that reached out to me to say, okay, this is what I'm doing currently. There are others that would not reach out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Not everyone will actually reach out. But that's why we are humans. That's why we are humans. Okay, I think your network is really bad. I will not waste more of your time so that I can actually go into the newspaper review. So I really want to know, right? For the young ones that really aspire to be like you, that really want to do what you do, What can you really say to them?
For the young ones that wants to do what I'm doing, the
Yeah.
message I have for you is that you have to discover your niche. You have to discover what you're passionate about. For example, I went to school to study chemistry. When I was studying that course, many people were like, "Oh, what do you want to do with chemistry? Which industry will employ you?" You understand that kind of thing. People will
Yeah.
even go and start saying things like, "Chemistry is not a course you can practice in Nigeria." But I just graduated. I graduated from school in just this 2022. So now, because of my knowledge in chemistry, I can fully dive into research as a chemical scientist. So whatever your passion is, please build on it. And for parents, there are parents that you tell them, "Oh, this is what I want to study," they'll be like, "That is a rubbish course." My parents are not the kind of parents that will tell you, "Oh, you must study medicine, you must study engineering." Although there are people, my younger ones, there are some of them that decided that, okay, I want to study engineering. It was my parents never suggested any course to them. It is based on your passion. So as a young person, follow your passion. And sometimes there are some areas that you feel that, oh, there's no route there because people are not making impact there, you understand. But then as a young person, know that try to communicate with the supernatural because it helps. Sometimes our physical strength can fail us. Truth be told, the initial course I wanted to study was pharmacy, but the competition was high. And then the school gave me another course and said, "You are take chemistry." I accepted it. Little did I know that there is this part for me. All I
Yeah.
just did was to remain resilient and then do what I'm doing. And in the long run, I think I am more fulfilled being a chemical scientist.
Wow. I love that.
So, to my generation, don't don't even though things don't go the way you want, be resilient and then remember to incorporate the place of God because he's the one that created us and then he's the one that knows the path, the mission we are on earth to fulfill.
Okay, sorry, I think your network is really bad. I love the courage, I love the encouragement for people, right? And one thing is finding your path and actually working towards becoming a better person in whatever path you find yourselves. You
Yeah.
know, the worst thing is you discouraging yourself or being discouraged when you want to start up something. Do you know that I've had friends where they really want to go into a particular business, but they come to me and be like, "Mira, I don't know if this thing will sell. I don't want to start up a business and within a couple of months it will just close up." You understand? I wouldn't want to start and within a short while we just sleep with it and wind up and all of that. So and I said to them, the thing is, you've not started. When you start, right, you need to put in the effort but you try to market it your way so that people can get to know you because it depends on the kind of business you do. There are some business that requires proper marketing, whether online
Yeah.
or offline. The thing is just to start, but so far so good. To be sincere, all of them that have actually ventured into one business or the other, they didn't close. It has still been there. It's actually a
Yeah.
good one. I feel like sometimes we feel discouraged because we've not tried something out. When you try
Yes.
something out, you see the goodness in it. Now you might felt like, or initially you felt like, why did I go into studying chemistry? One or two discouraging words must have come
Yeah.
in, but you really have to neglect it, and you felt like I could actually do something right from it. It is the confidence you put in something, that belief you have for something, that is what will push you. That is what will make you grow into that field. Just like you said, there are times where you've been discouraged, but you have good people that support you. You have positive people. It is one thing to have people around you, and it's another thing to have positive people that speak in positivity in you and make you understand that you are the best of yourself and you can
Yeah.
actually make out something for yourself. I really wish our Nigerian youths can just be here right now to listen to this broadcast. They can actually cue into this broadcast to listen to what you said. How they can actually it must not actually be you making money from waste. There are other things we can do to actually be a kind of productive, right, in our ways. How we can start thinking of being productive. You know why? Still in this era, you have people that are jobless, that are seated at home, telling you they are not working
Yeah.
because no jobs, and they felt this entitlement is there. They felt the need to. They kind of always come to people to beg people for support, for assistance. You get. We should not be in that kind of Nigeria. We should not be in such a kind of country, and that is why you have the crime rates. Because when you're not working, when you don't have money, what is the negative thoughts begin to come into your head. So we should start thinking of, even our schools should do better. Let's begin to inculcate in those students the art of practicals, right? We should not depend on just the teachings we do. Now is not longer the time we just write and read books without
Yes,
having a
you're right.
practical of it. So that we can start doing something different. Because to be realistic, only white collar jobs will not give you money henceforth. Not even in this kind of Nigeria, where you know
That's
the
true.
kind of money people pay to offices. So let's begin to have that different mentality from what we had before, right? How we can actually, before there's this place where we place fashion designers initially.
Yes.
But you see how fashion has really taken Nigeria to, where fashion has taken Nigeria to, the entertainment and fashion. To be realistic, Nigeria has really gone far in the fashion industry. Now
Yes,
we
they have.
about different things, right? From these outfits, we can actually make money from this outfit, depending on how creative you can be. So it has really made us to understand that there are people, right, that might not really be educated as you, that might actually not have the opportunity to have gone to school like you, right? But do you know that if they not
Yes,
learn this, they'll be doing well for themselves. So we should start thinking of,
that's true.
yes, how we can actually be better on our own. If you think the country is difficult, just like what I always say when it comes to the show, we talk about most of the problems in Nigeria. We will not, why are we always talking about it every day? Because we've not been able to make any change. It is one thing
Yes,
to talk, another thing to take action. We keep coming here to talk about it, but I think there are still times where we need to think about how we can actually make out something for ourselves as youth in the country. You get, so that people can now start patronizing us. People can now start seeing our good works. Because if we are many in this field, imagine when you are many in this field, you will not see the need to want to give up because you see this person doing well in it. You see this person
yes,
making. So why should I not be able to make sales? If you think that you're seated in one place and you're not doing fine, then you stand up from where you are. You wake up from your slumber, you go out, you meet people, you see the need for how to become better, right? Then you create
yes,
that awareness. This is you now coming here on the live TV to talk about your business, to talk about what has inspired you and where you think you want to be in 5, 10 years from now, your visions, right? And how you really think this thing can be of help to other people. You don't have 10 heads, right? You're still a
yes.
very young lady, and I'm so impressed by the ideas, right, that you have and the things you've been able to see. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you so much for making us understand how we can really make money from waste. They are not waste anymore. You've made us understand that they are not waste because you can
I'm
actually make
great.
these things. Thank you so much, Favor OJ. So, what's your last one before I let you go?
My last words is this. The first way to make impact begins with passion before money. So whatever you want to achieve in life, let passion drive you before the money comes in. Thank you.
So in a nutshell, Favor, you didn't go into this because of the money you get. You went into
Yes,
it because of passion. So passion
yes,
first before money,
yes,
right? So just like for
yes.
example, now let me say a celebrity calls you and okay, Favor, give me a polish from your brand. Would you want me to pay you or tag you so that other people could see you, or other people can see you to see what you do? What will you
Yes.
say? What will you go with? The tag or the money? Which one will you choose?
I would go without money. There are even projects I've done with my personal money, and on sometimes on the way you're even insulted. But because of the passion, you will still go. In fact, most times the money you spend is even more than what you get back sometimes at the initial time. So it's just passion.
Yeah,
Passion.
I understand. You're trying to create a market for yourself. because that awareness will give you more than the money that you pay to that person at that time. But some people, like I've interviewed somebody for a fashion designer. I say tag or money, and the person said money. Oh, that money. Oh,
Ah,
it depends. Everybody with their mentality. Some people tell you tag. The reason is tag will give you more of that market, that audience you want, right? And you'll be able to make even more than the money that particular person will pay you. So to me, I always go with the tag, because if they keep tagging you, someone else will call you, and you still begin to
yes.
make from whatever you do. Thank you so much, and do have a lovely day.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful. Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, so I've been in the show with Favor OJ. She's a chemical scientist, and she has been able to educate us on how people can actually make money from waste. That is wealth in waste. And I'll be going into the next section, which is the newspaper review. But before then, let's go on a quick break. And when I come back, I'll continue with the newspaper review. Don't get any viewers. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Find your sanctuary in Find your sanctuary in the heart of
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than Srtv Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments.
Find your sanctuary in the heart of the city. Live the life you deserve in an exquisite apartment. Srtv Luxury Shortlet Apartment, Lagos, is a place where your comfort is rest assured. Welcome to Srtv Shortlet Apartment, part of the prestigious Srtv Real Estate family. Why choose us? Prime location, nestled in the heart of Lagos, close to key attractions, business hubs, and vibrant nightlife. Modern interiors, fully furnished, stylish apartments designed to provide the ultimate comfort. Luxury redefined, vacation perfected. 24/7 security. Enjoy peace of mind with round-the-clock security and CCTV surveillance. Top-notch amenities, high-speed Wi-Fi, smart TV, air conditioning, fully equipped kitchen, and lots more.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than SRTV. Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further
welcome
than
back, viewers,
Srtv
from that
Shortlet
quick break. I think
Apartments.
my network
Our
is
fully
really
furnished
disturbing.
apartments offers
Okay, I'll be going
everything
into the
you need
next
for a
segment,
comfortable
which
and
is the
relaxing
newspaper
stay.
review. And I'll
Unwind
be
in
starting with the
spacious
Tribune.
rooms with exquisite
Let's see the
ambience.
story.
Cook delicious
What we have
meals
on the
in
Nigeria.
our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows.
Okay, let's see what we have on the Nigerian Tribune this morning. What do you have on our dailies? The big story on the Nigerian Tribune. Okay. The big story says blackouts, Genkos, TCN, Discos in trouble. And the writer says, still on Tribune, as Senate threatens to reverse privatization of sector, accuses them of adding no value, laments each grid collapse, cost $25 million to restart. And that story is on page 17 of the Nigerian Tribune. Moving forward, you have a story here that says PDP chair, BOT insists on zoning office to North Central. One zonal leaders to replace AYU says further delay of NEC meeting on the Mines Trust on page 2. Tax reform bills. We won't suspend legislative actions coming from Senate. Akpabio overrules deputy on composition of ad hoc committee on page 3. Ibori's daughter, 4 Labour Party federal lawmakers defect to APC on page 17. Court okays probe of funds allocated to 17 local government areas in Abia State from 2019 to 2023. We also have a story here that says NEPC frowns on $480 million expenditure on importation of 3 million tons of rice. And these are all the stories we have on the Tribune. NEPC frowns on $480 million expenditure on importation of 3 million tons of rice. in this Nigeria or in another country? Because I don't really understand. Talking about importation, when you go to a Nigerian market right now, you really think these people are not even importing anything. Are they even foreign rice anymore? It's really alarming. Like, it's really, really not a good one. This whole tax reform that I'm seeing on the Tribune, this story has been there for like how many days? And he's been topping the charts and all of that. At the end of the day, the president will definitely have the final say. So whether the northern governors they come together, they disagree and all of that, it is still based on the president to come up and say this is what will happen and this is what will not happen. And talking about the um courts, OK's probe of funds allocated to 17 local governments Abia State from 2019 to 2023. Oh my God, we probe. What's the outcome? Whenever we do this, you investigate on things, but what is definitely the outcome? That is the most important thing. Is there any outcome of it? There's no transparency, whether we like it or not. We need to do better in this country. We need to do better in Nigeria to actually make it a better place. And Ibori's daughter, 4 Labour Party federal lawmakers defect to APC. These are normal things. It's political. We defect, and the next thing we still come back. So it is what it is. So let's see the next story, which is the Vanguard, newspaper. What do you have on the Vanguard this morning? The big story on the Vanguard, we have still on tax reform. Just like I said, tax reform has been there for quite a long time. Even yesterday, you could see the story is still all about tax reform, the Northern Governors Coalition, and all of that. Okay, so it says tax reforms bills. Akpabio overrules Bureau, says bills not withdrawn or suspended. Vows Senate won't be intimidated by external pressures. Senate removes Monguno from committee. South senators back bills. Pass confidence votes in Akpabio. Reform must enjoy political technical acceptability. Fayemi, Arewa youth call Northern elites. Bluff declare support for reforms. And all the stories on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving forward, they also have a story that says how we tackled 97% OML 17 oil thefts coming from Elumelu. 4 Labour Party reps they come to APC. These are the normal things we see, so it's not a new story. PDP crisis. BOT declares shifts of neck meeting. Asks North Central to nominate Ayu's replacement. From the sport decks of the Vanguard, we have a story that says 2026 World Cup qualifiers honors queries Super Eagles commitment. We have Netzins on board mainstream energy solution for Nigeria carbon registry. We also have a story here that says Boko Haram, 10,000 people die in military custody. Amnesty International. Privatization of power sector, total failure coming from the Senate. Farotimi activists, group plan nationwide protest, December 10. Farotimi activists, group plan nationwide protest, December 10. I wonder why people announce protests, and at the end of the day, nothing new will happen. So we have OPEC extends Nigeria's 1.5 million PBD oil quota to 2026. Now, my thoughts on those power outages. Our electricity is really getting worse. Although I know that some parts, maybe because I'm based here in Abuja, some parts they tend to experience enough electricity. Why some parts experience this blackouts and all of that? In as much as it is not privatized, we always have this thought. Personally, I always feel like when something is privatized, it tends to be better, it tends to work well. But as regards electricity, I think they need to do better because people use this, people pay for their lights, and if they're not getting what they pay for, what's the point? At least when you pay for a service, it's good you see the need for it. It's good you see the importance of what you pay for. Sometimes let me say within a couple of maybe like last month, you hear of blackouts. Today it's blackouts, and sometimes within 2 days, national grid. It's really not funny. It's we need to do better because people pay for this. If we want to depend on light for things and we cannot really boast of it, so what's the need? Just like it said on the story, privatization of power sector, total failure. Really, it is, because it's really not working well. We need to do better. So we say Faratimi activist group plan nationwide protest December 10. Yeah, the arrest of this man, to me, it's really wrong. You don't arrest people like that. But what I'm saying, my take on it is, you don't announce protests. If they're announcing the protest for December 10, the people that you want to go and protest on, they are still waiting. They are getting ready for you. So will there be victory in this? I feel like most times, if we want to take this, we should really come unaware, take these people unaware, and maybe by so doing, we tend to come out victorious. But if you already start from now to be announcing that you want to really go on the protest, I don't really think you come out victorious on it, because what I'm saying this is, they get ready for you. So when you are coming, whatever you're coming with, they are ready for it. And the next story talked about Boko Haram, 10,000 people down in military custody amnesty. The thing is, in as much as sometimes I talk about the inability of our military to really help us, to really save us, these people are really, is a kind of them taking over, a kind of them having so much power on us as Nigerians that we can't even do much. Why am I saying this? They come, they attack. How can people of this number die in military custody? How can people of this number die in military custody? We are supposed to, there was a time we had a military personnel on the show, and I said we tend to see them as small gods for us on earth, right? That should protect us. So if you that are supposed to be the one protecting us, securing us, and at this point, these people are not even overshadowing you people, then it's a problem. Where then can we find safety? Because just like what Zulum, the Zamfara state governor, said, that the people that are sponsoring these Boko Harams are the reason why it cannot stop. They are fighting by all means, trying to make sure it doesn't stop. Why? Because they are fighting it. Just like when you are gaining from something, right? Because we are selfish naturally as Nigerians. If I'm gaining from something, I will not want to put a stop to that thing, because I am getting enough things from it. I am gaining from it. The selfishness that has rooted deep into us is one of the problems we have. Now, these people they are killing, I really don't know the mission behind it, why this keeps happening over a long time right now in Nigeria, and it looks as if they now own the country. They do whatever they want to do and go scot-free. And Zulum actually said it, that people that are actually sponsoring it are the reason why it cannot stop. These are the reason. Okay, they now have to even form a new group in Sokoto. We are talking about the killing that is already happening. They're expanding. Why I say we are in a big problem is there needs to be a level of comfort for we as Nigerians, for we as the citizens in this country. Let's find comfort in this place that we find ourselves. But you cannot really boast of comfort in Nigeria, where insecurity has actually taken over the country. It has eaten this country, in the sense that we are not even safe. Even in our homes, wherever we find ourselves, we are not even safe. And that is why I like the video I played yesterday about the police officer that talked about them trying to arrest whoever is using a tinted car, right? Arrest them, because why use a tinted car and you carry passengers on the way? It's really not safe, because we can't really see people that are inside. If they really work on it, I would have said it's a good development, because it's a way of trying to tackle the insecurity in the country. But these people, there's a way they work. Why I'm saying this is, what if at the end of the day, the people that are carrying this tinted glass start paying them, start giving them money? You get my point? Then it's really going to be a big one. It's really going to be a big problem. The thing is, okay, now look at what this police woman said. She's talking about that most of the death killings that's happening to our Nigerian young ladies as a result of hookups. Hookups as the one thing that is okay. That parents should talk to their daughters. Parents should talk to them about the dangers of going out to meet strangers. It's a good one. I know fully well that the securities, they are trying in their own way, but adults, there are people that you cannot really, in as much as we know that the killing has been taking place in the country. The killing is one thing that has been there for over a long time. People know that they go out. Sometimes they go out to meet strangers. They don't really come back alive. Most missing girls cases and rituals killing in Nigeria are connected with hookups coming from the police, which is just the truth. Like, you don't know somebody, they invite you, and you see yourself going there. You quite understand how difficult this is. You understand how painful this is, but we never learn because we place money as one of the major values, which is not supposed to be so. Because life first, when you're alive, you can achieve every other thing. But if you end your life this way, when you have your future ahead of you, it's a problem. So we can start actually picturing our heads, picturing our minds into doing better in Nigeria as a country, for the betterment of us, for the betterment of our families. Let's make Nigeria a beautiful country to live in, a better society to live in, where people can come, do businesses, can come on vacations with no fear of insecurity, can come and think of how to kind of grow the economy. Because you see Nigerians traveling to other countries, they go to other countries, they want to go on a vacation. How many times do people come to Nigeria for vacation? It's not giving us a good name out there. People feel like if I come to Nigeria today, because of the insecurity, one thing or the other might actually happen to me. It's really not a nice one. Let it be a country where people can confidently come, spend their time with no regrets, with no pain, with no curse. You get? Okay, this would be a good place for me to wrap up the show on the Wake Up Nigeria. Don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend about us, just like a chain. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handle. Tomorrow will be the weekly bulletin that will bring to you the reviews of everything that's happened within the week. Stay tuned and keep watching Srtv. I remain your girl, Mary Bad Easy. See you again.
Find your sanctuary in the hearts of the city. Live the life you deserve.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than Srtv Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for it.
Find your sanctuary in the hearts of the city. Live the life you deserve in an exquisite apartment. Srtv Luxury Shortlet Apartment, Lagos, is a place where your comfort